Morning everyone, it's Yvonne here to do your What's Cracking reading. Before we get any further, thank you so much for your comments. It's been lovely to have all your comments. There's been so many the last few days, so thank you for that. Thank you for your support. The names are often very familiar to me, so I know some of you have been watching me since the beginning of time. So I know Madeline. I know we met many years ago, and it's beautiful to still see you on board. So thank you for your support. There's a lot of others too. Okay, where do we start? Let's get to the scammers first, because they're driving me absolutely bonkers at the moment. The phone calls, I just absolutely lost it with a woman yesterday. Cybersecurity and your website and phone have been compromised, and I was like, you liar, go away, you big fat liar. Anyway, but they really are quite plaguing at the moment. They want to cast spells. They want to get you to go to them for readings. Please just keep in mind that they're doing it on my channel, which is hideous again, but just be careful. Don't go paying for something unless you're sure it's what you want. It's bad enough having to deal with like people's negative comments on your page. So you troll all the way over, find my page and leave a comment. I'll be a hero. Okay, so let's move on from that because it's actually quite silly. But people do get taken in, so please don't be taken in. If you're unsure, do your homework. There are amazing readers on YouTube. You do not have to get scammed. If you're going to pay for a reading and it's not me you want, there are so many great readers on here. And if you want a recommendation, more than happy for you to email me and ask me who's really good on here. Some people I watch do astrology as well, so if you're interested in that, let me know. Hula Pulu, she did a reading for me a few years ago now. She does a lot of she does an astrological reading, incredibly good, very insightful, so try her out. And there are lots of other readers on here who either I've had readings from or somebody I know has had a reading from, so it's okay to ask. Where else am I up to? Okay, membership program. We finished sort of going through the minor arcana. I did them fairly quickly yesterday. I feel that, once you sort of know what makes up the tarot, it's easy to follow. So I'll try and get a live up today or tomorrow. If not, it will be next week. I've still got an assignment due, 2 assignments due, and then I go for a week's holiday in October from the 16th to the 23rd. So if you're after a reading with me, it will be next week, or be waiting till after the 23rd. If you do want a reading with me, the Aussie Goddess at gmail.com, all one word, spelt correctly, no numbers. All right, I think that's everything. We've been shuffling the bum off the cards while we've been talking, so we should be ready to go. Okay, I love the Eight of Wands. I think it's a beautiful card. It usually means that there is information or communication coming across the internet, across the airways, and it's on its way to you right now. Sometimes with that Eight of Wands, for me, in a personal reading, it sort of brings up this energy of 8 days to 8 weeks. So it could be for you in the next 8 days. For others of you, it might be a little bit longer, but there is communication coming that you are wanting. So this could be somebody communicating, we're using the Morgan Greer Tarot for your reading. So let's just have a look and see what's behind that, because that will influence it. Okay, so there is communication coming in regards to love. This might mean that I'm listening to the rain. This might be that you have new love coming in. I'm not sure yet, but there is communication coming in regards to love, possibly from a Gemini. There is definitely somebody in contact with you here, somebody you've been waiting for, possibly Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. I feel like here, yeah, okay, so you've got Leo, Sag, Aries energy. I feel like communication's coming that you've been waiting on. You knew this communication was coming. However, I would say because of the way the cards are, you might not anticipated coming at a particular time. So it would have been that whole thing of like when you apply for a job, I know they'll communicate with me when they're ready. It might take a week, 2 weeks, whatever. And there's definitely some sort of communication coming in here. So let's dig a little bit deeper. I feel like it's in regards to love. We've got Scorpio energy coming through with the Death card, with the Page of Wands, the Hanged Man, Pisces energy coming through with Capricorn energy. 3 major arcanas in the first row, which is really different and nice. Okay, so I feel it's really strange because to me it makes me feel like you've been waiting on communication from somebody, but somehow or another you've been really doubting that the communication will come. You know, I know that psychologically it's very normal and natural for us to sort of err on the negative side. It's quite a natural thing for us to lean towards the negative. However, I feel that you can change that energy most of the time by sort of questioning or trusting. So, you know, if you were waiting for communication from somebody and you keep saying to yourself, it's not going to come, these are the reasons it's not coming, then you can get very disappointed rather than being positive about it. Now, some people have said to me, oh, I'm only being realistic. No, you are you are verging on the negatives. So there seems to have been some sort of situation here, I feel, where either some sort of conversation, I feel like this is romantic, but if it's not, then I'll try and have a look at it from that perspective as well. There seems to be this energy of expecting somebody to contact you, but then doubting or worrying or overthinking that it might not happen. And there's a horrible sort of energy here of, you know, it's that whole thing we talk about when you've had, you know, a traumatic sort of background, or you've had some, you know, things in your life that have been quite negative. And you become really accustomed to giving yourself a hard time, you know, and for many of us that comes up as what we call the imposter syndrome. So, you know, you go to work, you do a really good job, you work really hard, you know how hard you work, you put in all your energy and effort, but you always think that somehow or another somebody's going to think that you're not doing enough, or that you are just not good enough, or that somehow you're pretending to be good and you're not. And there'll always be some people who will see you that way too because of their own sort of narcissistic tendencies. So, you know, when somebody is very jealous of you, for example, they can put you down for absolutely no reason because it makes them feel better about themselves. So what I feel like here is there is something you've been waiting on, but you're doubting your own abilities here in regard to this particular situation. So there's very much this sort of energy of conflict and pain. So say you've been out on a date, this is a really good example, and you, after the date, you expect that person to text you or get in contact with you and say, I had a great time, can we do this again? That would be the ultimate. And you'd want to hear that within 24 hours of the date. And they don't call, and that you don't hear anything. So then you start to think, what did I do? Or how did I present myself? Or did I say something that I shouldn't have said? Or, you know, and you tend to sort of pull it all apart. Now, I don't know this is everybody. I just feel this is the energy coming through, and I know the energy. So to me, this sort of feels like perhaps something has happened where you've had contact with somebody and now you're waiting on the contact, but for some unknown reason, you're not trusting that. So it's creating this sort of energy of overthinking it, worrying, stressing about it, rather than just saying, you know what, if it'll be, it'll be. Baby, just let it be. I just feel, sorry, I'm in a bit of a daze this morning, but it just feels to me like you are now putting yourself in that position of course, they're not going to call me, there's something wrong with me. And there is a fear here that something is not going to happen, even though here it's saying it will. So what I feel like here is this is about trusting yourself. It's about taking things from a different perspective. It's about going inside and asking yourself why you think that. Because when we do the healing, I always say to people, if you recognize something within yourself, you're already halfway to the healing of it. So if you're going inside and you're doubting your own ability, then you have a problem with your self-esteem and confidence. Because if you trusted yourself and you believed that you were whole and complete, then you know this person's going to call. You know they're going to come back. Of course why would they miss out on you? But to me, it makes me feel like perhaps there is something around your self-esteem or your confidence where you're doubting your own ability. All right, we have a beautiful King of Wands coming through with the Emperor right next to it and the Nine of Cups. What can I say? You know, sometimes when we're reading, I'm sure other readers will tell you this too, because the energy is so strong, we're pulling the energy through, and it's not uncommon for me to get cards just to validate what I've said. So we have a wish coming true here. And I feel like with this Emperor, this person is very significant to you, but could definitely be an Aries here. But we're looking Aries, Leo, Sag. Whoever this person is, they've had, obviously, either you've been waiting a long time. I often feel like, as I say, with the Emperor, Empress, you could be in sort of a connection that's very significant. You could have met someone that you felt was really very, perhaps you've got a fear that this person doesn't think you're good enough, but that's you thinking it or you seeing it that way. I feel like this person's really focused on you here. To me, they feel like they've really seen you as something incredibly good too. If they haven't got back to you yet, it isn't because they're not interested. I think that they're going to get back to you, but I think somehow or another they may be contemplating, taking their time. There may be other issues here with this Emperor energy, but I do feel with that Nine of Cups that there is coming some sort of communication here. Let's just have a look a little bit deeper. Right, we have the Wheel of Fortune, the Ace of Wands, beautiful, beautiful reading, and the Six of Cups. I feel like this is somebody from your past, and this has been coming up a little bit. The Six of Pentacles, well, maybe it's the Six of Pentacles too. The Six of Cups. It is a card that denotes the past. It does talk about nostalgia, remembering, you know, going back to the past to really sort of maybe have a look at things. I feel like this person is wanting to make contact with you. I feel like especially with these cards here, this reading is absolutely beautiful. There is a new beginning here. However, being this person's come up in the middle as the Emperor next to the Nine of Cups, I feel like this communication may be held up by something. So let's have a little bit more. I'm going to pop a few more cards on it. All right, so I have communication coming in from somebody you have some sort of love connection with, let's put it that way. And we do have the Page of Pentacles coming through. So I see an offer coming. You have manifested this. You've been waiting. So the communication is definitely coming here. Now I go back to this energy, and I think is your person in another situation where they want to make contact here, but for some unknown reason, it's holding them back. The only reason I say that is I've got 5 major arcana on the table out of 10 cards, and the rest of the cards are extremely positive. So there is something good to come out of this, but I feel like especially when you've got the Queen of Wands here and the King of Wands on the table, there is a significant connection here. But I feel like something may be standing in your person's way, especially with that Devil card next to the Hanged Man. So there may be some sort of issue, fear, something they may be going through that's sort of held them back. Maybe they told you it will be a little while before they could get back in contact with you again. I don't know if there's a good reason for somebody not contacting you, even if it's to tell you why they're not contacting you or that they will be in contact with you. But it feels like to me like it's coming. Okay, so I have the Fool card, yeah, see, with the Hierophant. Okay, So you may be dealing with somebody who's got a block. Whatever the block is, it could be somebody who's already connected to somebody else. There is a new beginning here. So I do think this person is definitely going to contact you again. I just feel at the moment they're unable to because something is sort of blocking their way. So absolutely feeling like the contact is coming. Don't doubt you. Don't doubt yourself, because as I said, this is where we all go. When something doesn't happen right, we try to put it down to something we've done. It's a very sad, it's a sad way to see things, but unfortunately, many of us still want to pick holes in what we've done or where we've come from. You know, if this is a job for you and you're waiting for contact from a job, I mean, I remember one time I was unemployed and I applied and went for so many interviews and had nothing. This is honest to goodness truth. And I gave up, and I just sat back and thought, you know what, I can't do any more. And I got 5 job offers in a week. And I said to a couple of them, why have you taken so long? The government one, I understand there's so much red tape and rigmarole with government jobs. And I understood that. There was a pathology job. There was a job with the council. And I ended up taking a job that I wasn't 100% sure I wanted. And I missed out on a couple of really good ones because I'd already committed to that one. But the whole time, you know, when you don't get jobs or things don't happen for you, you tend to sit back and go, well, maybe I didn't perform well at the interview. Maybe, you know, this, maybe that. And you find a million and one excuses for why things aren't working. But what I want to say to you is you need to trust. You need to trust that you've done the right thing here. Okay, we have touched the sky coming through there. It reminds me of when I was young and my hair was really long. It was down to the back of my knees. And that's the honest to goodness truth. But one of my kids had gone to school and the teacher had been teaching, had done the story of Rapunzel. And one of the kids in there said, nobody has hair that long. And my son stood up and said, my mother does. Forget that. This is lost in thoughts, isolation and sanctuary. A young girl with long braids looks down to earth from up in the skies. The small bird on her shoulder keeps her company in her cloud sanctuary. She is holding one of her braids like a lifeline, as if she is expecting someone to climb up to her. Sometimes we are so overwhelmed by our feelings and sensations, we escape into a condition of withdrawal and separation. It is hard for other people to follow us there unless we give them a sign that they are welcome. So I feel like somehow or another, you're just sitting waiting and you're not really sure if somebody's coming, but it does look like they are. Thank you.